A couple of days ago, I was at the launch here in South Africa for the 3 new BMW mid-of-the-range enduro off-road motorcycles. Now, really stunning motorcycles, the F800 GS, the F900 GS as behind me here, and then the F900 GS Adventure. Now, the only thing those 3 bikes share amongst themselves is the motor in different states of tunes. So you start off with the F800 GS. It has the cast wheels, the motor's in a slightly lower state of tune. Really cool commuter and competent, let's call it, bike for guys entering into this category or lifestyle of motorcycle. Then you get the F900 GS here behind me, which really looks like a competent bike. I'm going to ride it just now and let you know, but if you look at it, look at that minimalistic seat section, tail section. Really cool looking bike, looks more like a hardcore off-road motorcycle. And then obviously in a higher state of tune. And then you get the F900 GS Adventure, which has the same motor, same state of tune, but the more traditional looking GS with a bigger screen, bigger tank, and bigger tail section with brake lights and holding all the panniers in the frames. So absolutely cool bikes. They completely refreshed this middle class range for adventure bikes for BMW, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. And today I've got this 2024 BMW F900 GS as here, Sao Paolo Yellow, and let's go right into it and have a look at the specs on this motorcycle. Now here we have the all-new, refreshed, upgraded and new-looking premium mid-range touring enduros. The 3 models are the F800 GS, the F900 GS and the F900 GS Adventure. Now, the original F850 GS was introduced in 2018 and the previous capacity was 853cc to be precise, and now here the 900 is the 895cc. Now, the F800 GS, if you look at it, has a lower suspension travel, a lower state of tune the motor, and has the cast wheels. So it's ideal for commutering and the entry-level enduro touring motorcycle. When it comes to the F900 GS, this new 2024 model, you have the extended adventure off-road capabilities. It's significantly changed and upgraded to the outgoing model. It has higher levels of standard equipment than the outgoing model. The advanced upgraded off-road capabilities on this motorcycle we'll go through with the specs now. And I think the focus was, if you look at the weight saving, I think they dropped 14 kilograms, and the horsepower they increased by 10 horsepower, which is over 10% if you look at it like that. Now, just to compare the horsepowers, as mentioned, the 800 and 900 share the same motor, the F designated being a parallel twin. You have for the F800 64 kilowatts, which is 87 horsepower, and this 900 is 77 kilowatt, 105 horsepower. Now let's go look at that motor in more detail. The F900, starting off, the F designates a parallel twin for BMW. Whenever you have the F in front, you have a parallel twin. So F900, your exact cc being an 895cc. This is a 4-stroke parallel twin double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, 895cc, liquid cooled. If you have a look here, quite a large radiator tucked neatly behind these side panels. This motor puts out 105 horsepower, 77 kilowatts at 8,500 RPMs. That equates to 93 Newton meters at 6,750 RPM. And it's quite nice because you see the power and the torque is nearly 1-to-1, which is a very nice rideable power. All of that goes through a wet multi-plate clutch, 6-speed gearbox and final drive chain. So not your traditional GS shaft drive, but chain drive as final drive. When looking at the suspension, definitely upgraded on the outgoing model. You have 230mm travel at the front and 215mm travel at the rear. So in front, a 43mm upside down fork with rebound and compression, damping, adjustable. You also get the Enduro pack where you have a fully adjustable shower front fork. The rear, you have the dual aluminium swing arm with a central spring over here, also adjustable. As mentioned, 215mm travel. Brakes, if you look up front, you've got the 2 discs, which is 305mm with a floating discs, 2 piston Brembo floating calipers. At the rear, a single disc, 265mm disc. You see your ABS ring and a single piston floating Brembo as well. So obviously top kit. When you go to the silencer, Akrapovic standard. When it comes to the wheels, your massive 21-inch cross-spoked wheel in front, shot with a 90 at the back, your traditional 17-inch cross-spoked shot with a 150. So you can see the focus on this bike is competent off-road. Really a complete package. If you combine brakes, suspension, bigger wheels, 10 horsepower up, 14 kilograms lighter, minimalistic, it looks fresh, it looks new, absolutely looks the part. I must say, I like it. Even the colors pop. Now the seat height is 870mm, which sounds very high. However, when you stand over here, you can see how slim this bike is. Very, very slim bike. So it doesn't feel so bad. It doesn't feel like you're doing the splits to get down to the ground. Really nicely shaped seat. I'll show you when I climb onto it just now. The wet weight on this motorcycle is 219 kilograms, and that is pretty awesome. Down by about 5% on the outgoing model. Fuel capacity is 14.5 liters, which is half a liter less than the outgoing model. However, this being a plastic tank, there's 4.5 kilos saving on the outgoing model. Then if you look at that seat section with that minimalistic frame, that slim bench type seat, if you go to the back, there's no brake light here, and they integrated in the indicators. Now there's 2.4 kilos saving, weight saving. Then your Akrapovic silencer, which sounds brilliant, looks cool with that carbon tip, but also 1.7 kilo weight saving. So all round, a brilliant package. Looking at the electronics on this package, you have your traditional and super cool, and I consider it one of the best in the business, 6.5-inch TFT display, full color with all the graphics. If you know the BMW controls and are familiar, that magic wheel, the menu button, if you bounce it down, cool animation on it, very visible, no reflection. Even all the controls, if you're familiar with BMW, it is easy to use and very familiar. Keyless start on this bike. You get 2 rider modes as standard, rain and road, and you get the Dynamic Pro as an option. However, here in South Africa, it is a standard. The bike comes with the ABS Pro DTC dynamic traction control as standards, dynamic brake control. It is a keyless, and as always, BMW with a GS has an extensive range of accessories. And just before I jump on and go for that ride, I'll do a sound check. But just to recap some of the highlights on this F900 GS, you have the weight saving of 14 kilograms. You have the upped horsepower of 10 horsepower. Your lighter tanks, your new panels, your refreshed look on it, lighter swing arm in front, more suspension travel, your enduro package optional, your higher specifications as standard. You've got even enduro footrests. The heated grips are on this bike. The aluminium side stand, attention to detail with everything, and full LED lighting, headlight indicators, and with the brake light not in there, integrated in the indicators, more weight saving. So all round, I must say, I think it really looks the part. It's refreshed, it looks young and fresh, and it has a purposeful stance. So let's jump on and go for that ride. I'm just going to stop out here quickly just to share with you. Have a look at this. This foot is flat, knee is slightly bent. If I go to the other side, foot is flat, knee is slightly bent. You can see my feet are a bit dirty because I was playing in the gravel and dirt roads a little bit through the bush. Very competent machine, very comfortable. As you can see, bike is super slim over here. So, and that's why I can sit here with the knees bent, feet flat on the ground. It is a very, very comfortable bike. Suspension is nice and firm, but not super bike style. The seat is, I would describe as an MX seat. So not a touring seat, but perfect. I could definitely sit in the seat for a little while. Here, the suspension, this thing just makes you want to misbehave and jump everything and wheelie where you can. I'm in dynamic mode right now. It is a fantastic motorcycle. From my opinion, I love these middle of the range motorcycles. Those that follow my channel, you will know that I bought myself the Aprilia RS660, and the reason for that was that those middle class bikes, it's a very much forgotten category. You know, back in the day you had the Yamaha R6, you had the Honda Fireblade CBR 600. That was a category that was booming and flourishing with a lot of models, and I enjoy that category because even as a veteran rider of over 35 years experience, it is a category that you can really ride the motorcycle, because most of us mere mortals, we aren't world superbike champions. Most of us mere mortals, the bike's capabilities far exceed ours. And then if you get something slightly smaller, you can use it more. You can get closer to that 100% capability of the bike. And this is what I feel with this 900. It is a motor that is completely usable. It doesn't scare you, but definitely got punch that you can drop anything robot to robot if you want to go for it. If you want to go on the highway and get some speed, you're not going to be a moving obstacle. You can definitely get some serious speed on this. And if you want to play in the gravel, this thing will light up the back. You will have to pay attention or dial in your traction control. So from that point of view, I enjoy these middle of the class motors and bikes, because they also inherit all the technology from the bigger bikes and the R&D. So yes, you have your ABS, your rider modes, your traction control. It's all in this bike. You even got the same TFT as the monster bikes, the big ones. And it feels as good and as complete as the bigger GSs that we all love so much. And it's a German build quality, it's compact, it's proper, everything is there. So from a rideability, this thing is insanely awesome. From a looks point of view, I must say I really love this minimalistic look, purpose-built look. It doesn't have clutter on it. No brake light. Initially I was a little bit concerned when the 1300 GS was launched. I was a bit concerned from a safety point of view, but these lights are pretty good, and you must say it does look fantastic. It just works. Now this bike is slim, it's light, it feels so nimble, flickable and competent. And even on the gravel, when you open the throttle and the back just starts spinning up a little bit, it's such a brilliant feel. So I must say, comfort wise, the gearbox, everything is as it's supposed to be. And what I said at the beginning, I want to ride this bike and see if it rides and handles as well as it looks, because in my opinion, and remember, I'm speaking from an enthusiast point of view, I'm not a journo, I'm not here to find fault and nitpick and compare this to the opposition. I'm here just to get onto this bike and see if it'll give me a smile a minute, a smile a mile, every minute of the day, that when this thing is parked in the garage, you just want to get on it and go ride it. Is it that type of motorcycle? It's not about fault finding. And so far, I've ridden it a bit this morning before reviewing the specs. I'm on it again, and this is definitely one of those bikes. If it's in the garage, you know, some days you'll look at it and you say, I need to go off the beaten track, gravel road, through the mud, go play a little bit. If you want to get on it and commute, It is so easy to ride. There is plenty torque low down. You can use it as an automatic. You get up in top gear and you just ride around, and it works so well. It's complete, it's nimble, it's light, you can throw it around. And even these more off-road focused tires, call them knobblies if you like, with that 21-inch wheel in front, it works. I have not scared myself when it comes to power. I haven't scared myself in a bend in any way yet. It tracks so nicely, it looks cool, it looks clean, and it's just a motorcycle that, I don't know, I must say I enjoy it. The clutch operation is soft, the gear lever is very positive. You move it, you know you've got the gear. It just speaks to me in every way, I must say. So far I am not ready to give the bike back to BMW. I still want to play some more. And as I've mentioned, ergonomically it is comfortable. They always speak about the triangle meaning your rider position, your ergonomics. The handlebars are nice and wide, MX style. My riding style, I love riding with the elbows out, so I sit upright. The handlebars come back enough that I'm sitting perfectly upright. My feet, if you want to say, they're a little bit further back than mid-mount, but they're high up, so you get the feel of good ground clearance. You get the feeling of you sitting high up on a motorcycle. When you stand up, you feel awesome. When I was on the gravel and I stood up, so if I stand up here, I'm standing not hunched forward, arms are straight, very relaxed. If I look down, I can lane split standing up, I can get the controls. You've got the enduro foot pegs. It just, all round, it feels so together, it feels so solid, this motorcycle. Ergonomically, I don't know, it feels as if it was designed for a 6-foot frame. Absolutely perfect. The suspension travel being the higher one of the two, F800 versus F900, and being up on the outgoing F850, it doesn't wallow around. It feels super firm, but not uncomfortably firm. All round, as I'm riding, I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't dial it in any different. The specs on the suspension, seat is comfortable. As mentioned, it doesn't have that square edge by your inner thighs. It's nicely rounded, nicely smooth, so you get to the ground if you put your foot down. Another thing that's nice, on my big 1250 GS, the big boxer motor stands out, and yeah, you have to watch out sometimes for lane splitting. This bike is super slim. You know, the widest point is your handlebars, and if you just watch your handlebars with the hand guards, you're perfect. The bottom of the bike is slim. You can kick your feet out. You're not going to hit any boxer motor heads or Nerf bars. The rear view mirrors show really past your shoulders, no obstruction. That TFT, I've mentioned it a few times, I think it is one of the best in the business. There's no reflection, that matte finish to it. The display, it's not cluttered, it's open. You can personalize it and put whatever info you want on top. This magic BMW wheel, once you got the hang of it, it feels great. I'm going to take this traffic light. It is dark green, but we're in Africa, so we punch it a bit. You can see plenty punch in that motor when you roll on. Handles well. The brakes, plenty strong enough for this motorcycle. I didn't change down, I just rolled on and off you go. I'm gonna take it onto the highway now and see what it does at speeds, but I can tell you this is not a moving obstacle. But the brakes, progressive, nice feel. You can jump on them and make the back wheel pop up like an endo. It doesn't dive too much, not too soft in front, and progressive braking, it really stops this motorcycle. I have no problem with this. The controls are light enough to do 2-finger controls, feathering. not how I promote you ride a bike, especially in traffic, but I just did that to show you that this bike, you can behave like a hooligan. It's got the stonk, it can pull you out. It's not that it's in the middle of the range that it's going to be weak, you're going to be left behind. Even those off-road tires, they grip nicely, you turn well. It's a complete little package. The one thing you can hear in my helmet, it is noisy, and that's because that small little screen. There's minimal wind protection. It is definitely quite noisy in this helmet, so I would advise use your quietest helmet. Alternatively, if you're going on long rides, I'm sure in the accessories catalog, I haven't seen yet, but you can get a bigger screen. This is a fixed screen, so I would put a bigger screen for a bit of protection if I'm sitting touring for 2-3 hours to make it a bit quieter, otherwise earplugs. But again, I showed you as I pulled onto the highway, you can get to illegal speeds in a hurry, you can get tickets. Here I'm in 6th gear, I just rolled on one hand, you can see no problem overtaking. You don't have to go through the box, you don't have to chase on this motorcycle. You can sit comfortably and it just rides so nicely. It is a brilliant commuter if you want to use it at that. Maybe if you're commuting, change the tires, but I wouldn't, because this is a dual purpose tire for all occasions. And the looks of the bike, it's so refreshed, it's up to date. It does not look like an old man's bike. It's hip and happening, the looks on this bike. All the controls, all the electronics, the rider aids from ABS, traction control, it's all there. Brembo kit as brakes. It's fantastic. LED lighting. Alright, I should behave, it's not my motorcycle. But it's perky, it's fun. At 5,000, 5,500, you see that motor kicks. It moves, it propels you forward. It's just, and it's nimble. You can weave in and out. You can rock through the traffic, roll on, give it some. And it really is a stable bike. Look at this. At highway speeds, it runs true. And one thing I have to stress, once this thing is in motion, it feels extremely light. It hides its weight. It definitely feels like an off-road motorcycle. It's super light, it's nimble, with a wide handlebars, this ultra comfortable riding position. How do you fault a bike like this? I don't know. Maybe it got a bit noisy on the highway for wind, but when it comes to touring, this is one of the models that's more focused for the off-road, off the beaten track. If you want to go touring, bigger screen, and your problem is solved. So in your accessories catalog, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's got any pickup points for pannier boxes and that, but true to form, especially here in South Africa, there will be plenty aftermarket companies that will come up with a solution for that one. But this is a bike that I would really enjoy when it comes to off-road, and it does look the part. Here, let's double back and head back. This is a real perky little motor, and it's got enough when you're asking here, 5th gear. I must say, having ridden the older F850, I did enjoy it. I think it's a very, very competent bike. It's a stunning bike, but there is quite a massive jump from the outgoing model to this one, all round, in my opinion, when it comes to looks. A fresher look, more upgrade, more modern, more up to date. Then from perkiness of the motor, definitely in 6th gear here, from 5,000. Mid-range, it really pulls hard. And it just looks so fresh, up to date, handling, nimble. I like the purposeful look, the stance of this bike, the silhouette of the bike. It doesn't speak so much of a GS, but more of an enduro adventure off-road bike. So in conclusion, I would say this is an all-round package. I love the colors. It looks fresh, looks young, looks modern. I love the purposeful stance, the silhouette, the plastics, the cosmetics, the minimalistic tail end. I think it looks brilliant, and when it comes to riding it, it is an all-round bike. There is nothing as an enthusiast myself would complain about it. I'm not as focused as an off-road rider that I would need the enduro pack, although that with the gold wheels and the fully adjustable showers, I mean, if you can afford it and the bling, it's brilliant. But this is such a complete package, and the bigger suspension travel and the bigger wheels, it handles, it does everything you want, and you have the package. You won't be left behind in gravel or on the highway. It's a fantastic machine. All round, from an enthusiast point of view, the only thing I would recommend if you want to go touring with it, you would have to look at a bigger screen, and maybe when you tie on a duffel bag on the back of the seat, you've got plenty space, but you'd have to look at that. Other than that, this bike is a complete package that I really enjoy, and I would recommend to anyone. I wouldn't mind putting that in the garage. Fantastic bike, and I think BMW got the spot on, just like they got with their 1300 GSs. This is a brilliant addition to that GS range. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this short little ride review going through the specs of the all-new mid-range of BMW, this F900 GS 2024. If you did, please remember, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up. Most important of all, guys, please hit that subscribe button to help me build the channel. And if you like, the reminder bell so you always know when I'm uploading something next.